I find myself in Radisson Blue or Tambo, a 5-star hotel in Kenton Park. Near OR Tambo International Airport, the occasion a cultural exchange hosted by the Embassy of China. Under the theme, Viewing China Through Film, I was invited by a friend, a fellow musician, and a powerful voice in our country's creative sector. Nomsa Mazwai, also known as Nomi Superstar. Nomsa is not only a gifted artist but also a social activist, busy with the Soweto Theatre, a cultural home for many South African performers. As we gathered, the organizers treated us to a short and yet powerful film from China. It told the story of a team who set to measure the tallest tree in their land. At first glance, it seemed like a simple scientific task.
Subscribe to Freezer's Chorus.
Hey, nice meeting you, my brother. How is it working here?
It's nice.
It's nice. What's your name, brah?
My name is Tambo.
Your name is Tato. Do you have any social media handle which you want to grow? We can tell the people to follow you or subscribe.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm Tato's Titos.
Tato's Titos on Instagram.
On Instagram, yes.
Definitely, we will follow you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Hola. Sure. Can you tell us the name of this place so that people can know where we are?
Okay. The name of the place is Radisson or Tambo. It's based on Kenton Park.
It's a hotel.
It's a hotel, yes.
And conference center.
Conference center. We got a boutique. We have a boutique also on the center. We have spa and yeah. Yes.
Wow, it's a beautiful place indeed. Thank you, my brother. Freezer, but bese ufaka no S.
No S.
Bese ufake no chorus okucula.
Okay.
Ibe ufreezer's chorus, uyayibona? Uyitholile? Hola.
Sure.
Sisonke sikhokho. But beneath the surface, it carried a deeper message. Measuring a tree is also about measuring history, memory, and human responsibility to protect nature. This film reminded me that storytelling, whether through film or music or theater, has the power to build nations and generations. Just as China celebrates its towering trees, we in Africa celebrate our ancient roots and strive to preserve them for the future. During the networking lunch, I met Homuzo Siwaketa, co-founder of an NGO called Petulo Yampino, a name meaning the transformation of life. The vision of this organization struck me deeply because transformation is exactly what our people need. It is what I am going through right now. In that moment, I knew I wanted to be more than just an observer. I offered to join their cause and made a personal commitment. I would donate a land in the Madiben developmental area called Itira Land to support their mission. This was received warmly, and what made it Even more profound was when Homuso introduced me to the councillor of Madibeng area, where my land is situated. Suddenly, what began as a casual conversation became a real-life partnership between community, activism, and governance.
此次活动由中国文学艺术界联合会、中国驻南非大使馆、中国电视艺术家协会、南非金砖国家电视台、中国外文局西欧与非洲中心携手主办，旨在搭建一座中南电视文化交流的桥梁，让光影成为传递友谊、促进合作的纽带。兼总领事，欢迎您！欢迎北京市文联常务副主席马新明先生。欢迎江苏省文联党组副主席常胜梅女士。
对所有人来说，这多普通，多熟悉，谁没见过树？因为过去那么多年，谁关心过一棵树
？2023年5月，中国西藏东南部的原始森林中，遥感探测发现众多95米以上、最高超过100米的藏南柏木。这不仅刷新了中国最高树的记录，也令藏南柏木成为世界第2高的树种，是国内前所未有的重大发现。这一次，什刹岛与野性中国一起携手科学家、攀树师，前往这片世界级巨树森林，寻找和考察中国最高树种。
那我想，我们接近巨树的过程，也应该是一个朝圣的过程。
Please help yourself with the simultaneous interpretation device and also make use of the microphone.
朋友们，大家好！特别荣幸能在这里跟大家分享观看刚才我们的短片的一些感受。我听到我们就是播映完了这个影片之后，观众们的热情的掌声，也是对我们今天带来这个短片的一个莫大的鼓励。在此也衷心的感谢大家。那么我觉得一个生态的影像的小短片呢，一个记录短片，因为所有的事情，我觉得热爱都是最好的一个起点啊。那么热爱之外，我们可能还有责任，还有使命啊，就是我们关怀我们生长的生活的这片土地，这个地球啊。那我分享的先到这儿啊。
感谢戴青教授为我们的发言。Let's put our hands together for her. 我们接下来有请我们的杜博士为大家发言。We welcome Mama Tu to give us some words.
Yes, I'm saying 1, 2, not because I'm going to sing. I was actually trying to get a song that a Chinese song, a Mandarin song that I performed for the embassy. And the person is calling me back, but it's too late now. But it used to go like dan da di da de, dan da da da. Do you remember that song? It's a Mandarin song. Ching chang hi bore. Anyway, it's not the time for that now. Good afternoon, good morning. Thank you so much for this inspiration. I did not expect that this day was going to be like this. I'm moved by what I saw here. The presentation of the documentary, my gosh, it got me thinking. I had to stop someone and say, what did that give you? Because it gave me something. It gave me something. I hear you mention care for nature, passion, responsibility. I also learned so much from the documentary. And I realized that we're sitting here, we're on a cultural exchange already. And when I open my eyes, oh, I'm watching something about nature, and it's about Chinese. It's a tall tree, the tallest tree. I'm starting to think, I wonder which one is the tallest in South Africa. So already I'm getting curious. I'm thinking about my own country. Yes, which one is the tallest? I was trying to catch the name so I can Google some more on my own, but I missed the name because I was busy writing. But what it did for me, the interaction between the people who were climbing the tree, it was so amazing. They trusted each other, right? Isn't that what we need amongst each other? And I have to say what you said again, passion. You could read the passion in their eyes. You know, everything needs passion. I'm sorry to repeat. I'm already feeling good because as I'm speaking, I feel the passion in my belly. So everything in life needs passion. Even me being here with you, I have to like that. I have to allow my flame to spread so I can connect with you. And what they were doing today taught me that hi man, these people are paying attention to nature. They actually discovered a tree that is tall, but they're going to it looks dangerous, but they're climbing the tree, right? Because they want to learn every little detail about it. They want to feel it, but I also picked up that care. They care so much, even when they put those clamps in, whatever, they do it with care. It's not like, yeah, this is a tree, we're just climbing. They're taking care, going up, because there is a working together happening here between nature and the people. And also the learning from each other. I'm even getting energy coming down from here because there is so much we're sitting here learning from each other. Just feeling and looking at you. Just listening to you. So in other words, that nature is saying, take care of each other, but also pay attention. Pay attention. That's what they were doing going up there. And it already, we said it's cultural exchange, and now, wow, we're learning from nature all of a sudden. So in other words, except to me, you can't ignore nature. But it is also saying to me, you can't ignore this person next to you. Because sometimes we just shut off, you know? Because maybe I'm lazy to speak, maybe I won't have enough English words, and then we put the wall. When we put the wall, we miss out on each other. As I was listening to the English in my ears, I also had to look at you, right? Because in you there's a rhythm. There's something I'm getting from you that only the frequencies are going to make me feel what it is. It's how you are. Maybe sometimes you can be talking to the audience and maybe feeling nervous. I can look at you and calm you down because I can feel that you are nervous. So it's important, like they did with nature, to pay attention to everything. Even at home, we always shout at our children, why did you skip the paper? You see that this is a dirty paper. Why didn't you pick it up? Because there's no attention being paid. So teach your children to pay attention and fix. Take the paper away, put it in the garbage. It doesn't belong there. So I learned that too. One more thing I learned, because there's a lot. If we do that, that's the last one. If we do that, we can climb the highest mountains. We can climb the highest trees because we will make it to the top. Thank you.
感谢。
感谢杜博士热情洋溢的发言。他看的时候非常注意细节啊，以至于呢，我们也跟着他，等于是重新又回味了一遍，刚才攀爬中国巨树的这个过程啊。 那么我其实呢也有自己的一些感想啊。看完这个片子以后呢，我就觉着，一山更世界第一高的树啊，也在应片的这个原始森林里头啊。这是我第一点感受啊。第二点感受呢，就是，那现在呢，就是我们中国正在倡导啊，叫5个文明的建设。
Thank you for inviting me. I think for me, the film just reminds me of just being aware of where you are. You know, most of the time we learn to write stories and we excel in writing stories about others. And we forget our own trees. I don't know how many of us have touched a baobab tree recently. Anyone from Musina? In the room, no one from Musina. Please, before you leave, try and go and touch a baobab tree. A baobab tree will tell you everything you need to know about how deep and old our civilization is. The tree can go to 2,000 years old. Saving in its hollow trunk thousands of water liters. But the story of the baobab tree is not told because the producers here are not showing it on SABC. They're not showing it on your own TikToks. You're not showing it on the Facebook, but you post every day. So the question is, when you say people don't know my story, it's because you didn't post your story, because you didn't touch your own tree. And I think with our partnership and our television partnership, these are the kind of stories that we would like to tell. Not only for South African and African audiences, but as well for Chinese audiences in the global South. We can't just be friends among BRICS when we don't even know our own trees. So I do encourage you today that you have a device, go follow BRICS Africa channel, and as well as tell your own story. You're already a broadcaster yourself. Just go find your tree and we'll gladly enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nyanda. And any statistics that showing the biggest tree in South Africa or the African continent, how many people does it take to hug the tree? Can we leave that as a question and do some of homework?
This is a television production you should be doing.
Yes, but it just made us to think, what will be the biggest tree? We just saw the tallest tree of China. Now we are curious about the biggest tree in South Africa. Let's do some search, let's do some homework, okay? Okay, next coming up, can we invite Dr. Sinalo for some words, please?
Amazing. Well, I would first just like to thank everyone in the room for this opportunity. I come in as the voice of the youth in South Africa, and I think, just having gathered everyone's thoughts on, this beautiful project that we have gathered here together for, just as somebody who is new to the industry, that is still curious, that just doesn't want to give up hope in, the cultural exchange and what we as, different states can gain in interacting through storytelling and, even developing devices that allow us to understand each other's languages so we can, dive in more into our cultures and, gain a more, advanced perspective in terms of cultural exchange. And I think it also just enriches our storytelling as South Africans, in terms of, a more enriched perspective of what the Chinese storytelling is like. So that's what I've picked up. I think that is important for, people that are still growing, that are in and new, I think we've got a lot more to learn. That's what I've picked up. So I think another thing that I've learned from just being present in this room is that truly nature and humans are in synonymous experiences in a way if we are curious enough to find more information and how we connect to nature and how that enriches us as human beings, you know, at any age and at any, you know, point in our lives. So that's what I just can say.
感谢各位嘉宾的精彩分享。好，接下来我们将围绕生态影像中的人文表达和技术革新和深化合作互鉴，架设中南民心相通的视听新桥。
中南民心相通的视听新桥进行对话交流啊。限于这个时间关系嘛，现在已经过了12点了，我想我们这就也别来2轮了，来上1轮。这2个议题呢，我们的各位嘉宾对哪个问题感兴趣，就可以重点阐述哪个问题啊。我觉得这样我们也能。
I'm sitting here thinking, this cooperation with each other, with nature, walking on the soil, feeling like, wow, South Africa has all the great things. Walking on South African soil and realizing that, wow, this country is really happening. All this that is happening, it should be for real. It should be for real. I'm saying this because I have an experience with being real and sincere. One time I owned a house for the first time, having come to Johannesburg. And my father said, but how are you going to pay for this house? Because you are just a musician. So my father put his fears on me. But I already had signed with the bank. Here I am in my house, and it's a big house. So I had to be close to nature to feel okay, because I was always nervous having the words of my father at the back of my mind, because he put those words of his fears. So what I used to do in the morning, you're going to be so surprised what's going to happen at the end of this short story. I used to walk barefoot. Is it said barefoot or barefoot? Barefoot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I used to walk barefoot and take my coffee, go sit under a peach tree with my journal, and just wait to listen. So that was my kind of meditation, right? And this particular morning, it's 15 days before the end of the month, and no job has come in for the artist to be booked to sing, or come and tell a story, or come and teach children. So I'm sitting here with my journal, and I'm sipping my coffee under this tree, beautiful shade. But the problem with this tree, it always came with rotten peaches. I don't know why. I never got to investigate. It's no longer there. They pulled it out because it always came with rotten peaches. Now, it still served me, that tree, because as I was sitting there, I got the shade. And I didn't want to be under the roof in order to feel good. I had to walk barefoot, lean against the tree, sip my coffee. Already I'm feeling so good. Yeah? And it's all priceless. I didn't pay anything. Right? What happened there? I started thinking, this worry that is in my head is about money. How am I going to pay for the bond? If a week passes, no one has booked me, how am I going to pay? But that worry actually subsided because I was sitting here very cool, and there was an exchange happening between me and this tree. I didn't even remember that it was bearing rotten fruit. I was now respecting this tree because I started thinking, you know, in life, we make choices. I chose to buy the house because I have free will. I wonder if this tree has free will. I got my free will from my Creator. I wonder if this tree that I'm sitting under has free will. And I think it's better to live without free will. I was starting to. So which means this tree is better than me, because when it needs the rain will come at the right time. When it needs to give a shade. It won't even come to the house and say, come out, I have a shade, come to me. I will go to eat the shade. Everything is going to happen. Right? But I have a responsibility because I must go and work to get money to pay the bond. Wow, I started respecting the tree more. I was like looking and I started, but then my meditative mind started going even deeper because I was getting relaxed. And I was feeling also safe because I felt like there is something higher than all of us for real. Even if I've never seen God except through you with my eyes. But I started believing that, yeah, there is something bigger than me that is in charge. Now I thought of the roots that are holding the tree, right? That are under the soil. And I was like, okay, it's standing still. It's not gonna fall because there are roots under. I wonder how deep they are. And then there's a trunk. Now I'm having a conversation, a very quiet conversation, because I'm listening, but I'm also respecting. So this exchange that's happening here, it's going to bear beautiful fruit. Because as I was sitting there, I started drawing this tree with a pen, not a pencil. I'm not a visual artist or anything. I'm not even an author. But you know what? 30 years later, I ended up with a book. From that tree. And that tree is in that book. And the book is called Journey of My Soul. It's self-published because I am on a journey. I concluded and said, yeah, man, this is a journey of the soul. So why should I even stress that if I don't have money by a day before the bond has to be paid, I will explain I don't have it. But it's the actual soul that is on this journey. So I must make it very, very special, this journey, and have good relations with everything, including nature. Thank you.
Thank you. South Africa is one of those special places on earth. We literally had an opportunity to meet everyone on earth. From the golden times till today, we still, we have our population is very small, I mean, compared to China. We probably, your forest there has more trees than human beings in South Africa. But we have always been luckily or blessed that from the cradle of humankind to telling our stories or even using our languages despite everything that has happened in recent history of apartheid and everything else. But you would swear when you're listening to Utata in the Black Panther speaking isiXhosa, but how did you make it to a Hollywood blockbuster? It's not by chance or luck, it's because we are a deep civilization, as I said, like China. So story is something that we know. Story is something that really, really empowers us. But I also like the innovation of what we can do with those stories. The respect, even you have the technology, but the respect of wanting to hug the tree and climb the tree and form your own moment with the tree is special, and that verifies more than the drone is going to give you. The drone can give you that digital length, but the climber has his own special history because he's the one who really climbed that tree. So what does that tell us as South Africa? That we do need to work with the technology we have. We might not have drones, but when I change the script and say, everyone starts listening because everyone knows that phrase. it tells you, until then, it tells you the story of how we can be without the normal technology, but we have our technology. So the exploration I would like to do when we're doing these stories is to find our own formats. We have formats of telling stories that are not necessarily in Beijing or New York or in Mumbai. Those formats are not really used, and I think there's a large commercial value in those formats, and I hope this partnership can really unearth in research and also in investments, investing in our own formats more than just the stories.
My thoughts on this are going to be very brief because I think a lot of really important factors have been, been very educational. I think just sitting here and listening to, I think the best thing that I do, when I'm in a room, I think Mama touched on it earlier, is, the art of presence. So I am right now in a moment that is of a testimony of God being alive, and that speaks to also what you touched on, that knowing more about our nature and practicing the art of presence and being able to realize that there are forces that are above us and bigger than us. We get to be humble in moments that do not make sense. Like right now, I didn't have time to prepare. If I can tell my story for today and how I ended up being here, and I think, just being afforded the opportunity to be present, be resilient, to be curious enough to be able to grasp all these points that are being discussed, which is rich knowledge that, I don't think that a lot of, South African black young filmmakers that are probably, in the indie space that, do not have budgets to, be in rooms that give them such rich knowledge. It's something to really appreciate and cherish. So I think if I wasn't able to be present and to just listen to everything that has been said, I wouldn't know what to say or how to even relate. So I think, the art of storytelling as well that each of our speakers really possesses allows me to transcend and understand, beyond not even having watched the documentary, but I understand what it's about and I can actually have, human emotion towards it. It really just sells it to me more than anything. So I think it's important. I think all the factors that I've just touched on are just important. I hope that I am making sense. Thank you.
举手呢，我上台来给大家话筒。
Thank you. I actually kept my hand up longer because I wanted to see if there was going to be a third hand.
Oh, hi everyone. My name is Nana. So by the way, this is a great initiative. I just wanted to sort of, throw a new spanner in the works in terms of having this shared future, right, between South Africa and China. South Africa and China has about 27 to 28 million deaf people or hard of hearing people, and South Africa has over 4 million deaf or hard of hearing people. Now, what I want to know is when we're having initiatives like this, and we're speaking of inclusion and representation, but we have this big number of people who don't participate in our industry at all because their stories can't be told because there's no accessibility in the space. And it takes rooms like this and people like us to then create those platforms. So I just want to sort of pick your brains as the panelists on what's your stance when it comes to inclusion, especially when we're speaking of the deaf community, who are not just, because they're not just a disability, they are a standing community with their own cultural practices. And if we're speaking of cultural exchange, then they should be a topic of discussion.
我们现在也看哪一位老师能够对我们的观众的发言提出一些你自己的想法。好，李老师有请。
这个问题我觉得提的非常有意思，也非常的巧妙。因为我们通常说这个影视产品它是视听产品嘛。是用视听语言来。
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity of being here. It's quite a blessing. I have actually 2 questions. And my first question goes into saying, from a professional perspective, especially in terms of the humanistic expression as well as technological innovation in our ecological images, what aspects of shooting techniques and narrative methods can China and South Africa draw and learn from each other? That's the first one. And on my second question, it's gonna go back to Mama Dunokwe. You made profound statement, Mama, about connection. You made profound statement about cultural exchange. And I believe that also encompasses the idea of inclusion, as our sister there made mention of people who are abled differently. Now, on the second question, from from a professional perspective, especially in post-production of film as well as television, how can we balance the visual effect improvement, which is brought about by any technological innovation, with the original humanistic expression of the film, preventing technology from overshadowing, the main content? The reason why I'm asking that is because we are from the Northwest, me and my team, and gladly so we came with our local councillor. The reason why we did that, we thought if we could bring him to this kind of a space, it will give him an idea of how he can enhance and also allow the youth within his community to be exposed to such collaborations, because we can sit in our offices, we can sit in the boardrooms, we can sit in hotel spaces, but if this does not even impact our youth back in our cultural villages, how are we going to make sure, as the 2 countries, that everyone is actually being touched and their lives have been changed and impactfully so? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your 2 questions. And the first question, I believe our guest would like to say something, and your second question is to Mama too, right?
Yes.
All right. Anyone, please? Mr. Yanda?
I actually didn't get the actual question. What are you asking? What is the actual question?
How can we keep the production to be as productive and enticing without putting too much effect on it, especially now when people are using visual effects and so on? But how can we make sure that we retain the roots of what South Africa is, and how not how we envision it, but how we see it, and maybe we can also make change from that perspective.
Okay. So what I actually want to say is that we have to start from the beginning. Even now, saying that someone is disabled, it took me long to learn that no, they are not disabled, they are differently abled. So from that one word, I got the education that, wow. So I'm not even better. The fact that this person can't read with their eyes, can't see, or they can't hear, it doesn't mean that they are disabled. So they are as important as I am. So when we start to learn like that, to stay open to that kind of education, we will know what to do, because we will meet each other at the same level. And I can even find a solution from a differently abled person. That person can show me what to do, like the tree showed me what to do.
嗯，刚才这位女士的问题，我觉得特别好，就是我们如何通过比较切实的合作能动员两国的青年。
That's progression. That's realization of these are universal stories that should be going to other languages as well. So I do think that the challenge is with us to include those minorities, and there's enough technology. It's a question of us really being conscious. I mean, I do get the feeling when people are watching breaking news and you have what we call in South Africa when the president Ramaphosa, the family, the family meeting. You know what was wrong with the family meeting? Was that the sign language was in a tiny corner and those members of the family did not get the message. But we had so much space where you could have a split screen and the translator or the interpreter could have half of the screen of the president. We didn't need to see the other background and the backdrops of logos. So just take that consciousness. The technology is there. So we need to encourage young people and all those who are learning the craft of whether it's editing. Just be aware of who is in the room and who's not in the room so that you can be more accessible. We pride in South Africa as a democratic state that wants to include everyone. So in your daily practice, you also need to really, don't just go and study science, but try and solve those problems. Those are our problems. Nobody's going to solve those problems except the people who are studying in this room to ensure that our next production can really be inclusive beyond just gender or race.
感谢我们的观众朋友们的提问，也感谢老师们的耐心的解答。那因为时间的关系我们就把这一部分稍微精简。稍后我们在午餐时间，希望大家能够继续进一步的多在各种议题上进行交流，好吗？那我们这一次的短片看中国，光影见未来，中南电视创作。然后感谢大家的辛苦 and once again I would like to thank everyone to be here today. And I would like to ask everyone to give a big round of applause to Mr. Charles and his team as the simultaneous interpretation. I'm sure they have just done a good job. Yes, of course. Yes, of course. We are taking now a group photo. Please, cameras are welcome. And then the seminar also prepared light lunch for everybody. And then please carry on with the discussion during the lunchtime. Also take a lot of photos with our guests and with each other. Please, everyone is welcome.
Come, let's take a picture. We're taking a picture with everybody.
The moment reminded me of something powerful. What begins as a story or even a film can become action in real life. Just as China measured its tallest tree, I felt that my act of donating land was a way of planting a seed of hope, a seed of transformation. This is what culture and community are about. Whether we are singing on stage, donating land, building schools, or making films, we are all working towards the same goal: a stronger, more united Africa. Alkebula.
Are you ready? Yes. Smile. And we can smile. Cheese. Cheese. Thank you.
Thank you everyone, thanks for coming and enjoy lunch.
This gathering at Radisson Blue was not just about film, it was about the interconnectedness of our stories. China's story of a tree becomes South Africa's story of land. A conversation over lunch became an act of transformation. An event about culture became a lesson in responsibility and generosity. I walked away realizing that culture is not just entertainment. It is an economic driver, a spiritual anchor, and a tool of diplomacy. It allows us to engage with the world not from a place of weakness, but from a place of strength, creativity, and generosity. So I ask you today, what is the tallest tree in your life that you need to measure? Is it courage to take action, the generosity to give, or the commitment to community? For me, it was transforming a piece of land into a seed of hope. For you, it might be writing a book, mentoring a young person, building a business, or choosing to simply care. Together, these small acts grow into forests, they grow into nations, they grow into legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, every encounter, every gathering, and every story we share has the power to change lives. The tree we measured today may become the shade under which generations rest tomorrow. Let us continue to plant, build, create, and transform. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And leave a comment. Life is indeed a roller coaster. Sometimes things are going very bad, and sometimes things turn good and joyous. So hold on and enjoy the ride. See you